What's up, everybody? The Hard Pass crew is back. I got Rim Breezy with me. What's going on, brother?
What it do, man?
What it do? We got a new logo put out there, so we had to flex on them,
Dude, grinding, bud.
making some moves. So we are back with our NFL Spotlight. Of course, we did the AFC East last week. Now we're working on the AFC North.
The North.
The North. We're going to start with the Steelers, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're gonna break down, of course, the depth charts and stuff. Y'all know how it goes by now. So we will start. Let me share screen real quick. Last time I had this ready. This time I did not. But here we go.
It's all good, man. It just builds time for the channel.
Exactly. So here we go. We're gonna talk some Steelers, and we got some interesting feedback from. I don't know where I put my notes at last time, but the last bit of stuff we did where we kind of ranked the depth charts and stuff. And I had a bunch of Patriots fans that was upset with me about the Tua thing, where we put Tua ahead of Mac Jones. But what can we do?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait until the season starts and prove them right,
Right. So just kind of, what do you think about the Steelers as a very broad stroke?
Somewhat of a rebuilding year, which for Steelers fans, they're not used to that. They haven't seen that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at this roster, and this is far from a championship roster. You know what I'm saying? This is they got a good young core, I will say, especially from a playmaker standpoint. Their playmakers are all young. They're all very talented. Of course, drafting a rookie quarterback, we'll see when he plays. He's been lighting it up in the preseason, so that could be sooner rather than later. Where the big issue with this offense, especially when I look at it, is this is not your typical Steelers offensive line. Like if you look at that offensive line right there,
Yeah,
that is a major weak point.
I agree with you there.
That's gonna be tough. But I have high hopes for Najee Harris. They probably need to limit his usage some. Last year he was, I think, a little overutilized for a rookie running back, but I think he's
a very
worth the
talented
hype.
player.
Yeah, he's worth
sure.
the hype. So their wide receiving core, if you look at it, 1, 2, and 3, all pretty young guys. I know Claypool gets a bad rap for the way he acts. He is immature, but he's a talented football player. Deontay Johnson is probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league.
He got the bag thrown at him.
No, Johnson. He did, but people just, to me, I don't think that he gets the same hype as a number one receiver as a lot of other guys do.
Right.
And I know Pickens, they've been talking a lot about Pickens, the rookie. In this preseason, he's made some great plays. So
yeah, I think Pickens has a lot of talent. It's just very strange to me how he never did anything at Georgia.
Yeah,
because I remember him coming into Georgia and how much talent he had. The dude's a freak. He's a freak of nature. I mean, college ball is a little different sometimes when it comes to skill position guys.
We shall see for sure. And then, of course, Freiermuth, the tight end, who was a rookie last year, had a really good rookie year at the tight end position. But yeah, like I said, I mean, if you look at this offense, there's some talent there. But like I said, you've got the question mark at the quarterback position. Which one of these guys starts? So, they bring in Trubisky as a free agent. Maybe it's, hoping to change of scenery. I know he got some hype for being the backup in Buffalo last year.
Yeah.
Maybe a change of scenery, chance to maybe start again. Mason Rudolph, of course, has been there for years at this point. And then you got the first round pick in Kenny Pickett. And today's NFL is not typical of letting your rookie quarterback sit for too long. So
yeah,
that's the big question mark there. And if they can block, I mean, that's just
really I mean, you look at the defense. The defense has some names on it. Of course, you have T.J. Watt, Devin Bush. They had Miles Jack now. They added him. And, of course, they have Minkah Fitzpatrick. So they have players at all three levels, which is what you kind of want on a defense. So defense is really good. They have a really good wide receiving core. They have a really good running back. But like you said, offensive line and QB. Turns out those are two pretty important things.
That's about the most important things you can have on the offensive side of the ball. I do think this defense will be very good. I think I mean, of course, you've got TJ Watt, who's arguably the best defensive player in all of football, coming off of his defensive player of the year last year. Cameron Hayward's just been a stalwart for them for so long. Bringing in a guy like Miles Jack, change of scenery, very talented football player. Be interesting to see him, running the Steelers linebacking core. So yeah, I think defensively they're going to be a very good defense. And I don't doubt that one bit. I guess kind of my big question mark, and I'll ask you the question: Who starts week 1 at quarterback? Who is the week 1 starting quarterback?
We'll start at QB here. I think it's going to end up being Mitchell Trubisky. I think it will end up being Trubisky. I don't have any faith in him. I don't think he's that good of a player. I don't think he's going to rejuvenate himself. I think he's how we kind of do the average, the above average. I think he's right there at below average quarterback in the league. Nothing crazy. He does have a lot of skill set. Pass catching is really solid. Running back room is really solid. But you stick him behind a shaky offensive line, we'll see how the offensive line pans out. I don't matter who's the quarterback. If you can't block, no matter who's the running back, no matter who's the wide receiver, if you can't block, we'll see. But I think it's going to end up being Trubisky. I don't see how they carry 3 quarterbacks. I think they'll end up probably getting rid of Mason Rudolph. Teams are crazy with the quarterbacks now. More and more teams are doing this 3 quarterback thing. I don't see it because I think they're kind of a wash. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, they're probably the same player. One's a little more agile. One's got more of an arm. So who do you think's going to start?
I think they brought in Trubisky for that, is to be the opening starter. Kenny Pickett, of course. Going into the draft, we had, the 3 quarterbacks everybody was talking about where they would go in the first round, and Pickett was the only one that went in the first round. I don't know if he's quite ready. I didn't think necessarily he was a guy you could plug and play week 1 when he was drafted.
Yeah.
But that's probably good for him. I'm not the biggest fan of this league of rookie quarterbacks have to produce year 1. I don't think that that's necessarily healthy, especially if this offensive line is as bad as it looks. I mean, rush him out.
They had to have a plan. You go out, you get Trubisky. Your plan is to play Trubisky this year. You pay Trubisky the money. You draft Kenny Pickett to be your future.
Yeah.
But teams get it wrong is whenever it starts to go south, then they just throw the future in there, and then it fucks their future up even more.
It can, yeah. And that's what I would worry about with this kid is putting him out there. If this offensive line struggles, is putting him out there going to cause more damage than it's going to do good? Right. I think you got Trubisky for a year. Throw him out there, let him take his lumps. Maybe see if he can build something. I'm kind of on the same page as you with the Trubisky thing. There was so much hype about him after last year being the Bills backup. It's like, he deserves another chance to start. I don't think he does. I mean, I get it. It was the Bears, and the Bears were terrible when he was there. But he just didn't show me enough, even with a bad roster, to be like, oh, that guy's a franchise quarterback.
No, I never thought that. You watch him play, even when they made the playoffs as the Bears, you're like, I don't know.
Still felt like he was part of the problem there.
Right.
So,
exactly.
But I do agree. I think let him take the lumps. I would say, now that's if I were running the show, I would let Trubisky run it probably the whole year, maybe up until the last couple of games. But
what's going to happen is Pickett takes over week 6.
Week 6 is when I think, or whenever their bye week is, he'll take over during the bye week. That's what my projection is that will actually end up.
It's so funny because all these teams, they all do this. They all have a plan, and we're going to do this, and then they'll struggle, and the fans will boo them, and they're like, we'll just mix it up. We'll see the next guy. And it's because the coaching staff has pressure on them. They're like, well, fuck, I want to stick around. I want to make sure I'm still here.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with sitting your rookie quarterback and letting him learn how to be an NFL quarterback. I think Patrick Mahomes, I think, is like the last example I can think of like a first round pick that truly just didn't have to play his first year. And look how that turned out,
Yeah.
I would sit him.
I would sit him too. So we're gonna give a ranking 1 to 4. Of course, this is our rankings for this QB room in this division. In the AFC North.
It's tough because of the Deshaun Watson situation in Cleveland.
Yeah.
11 games of no Deshaun Watson, I would put them 3rd out of 4. But of course, Deshaun will come back. He'll get to play the last quarter of the season, or the last third of the season, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm taking Deshaun Watson into account, I put the quarterback room last.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, without Deshaun Watson, I would still put this quarterback room above Cleveland's, who's going to be throwing out Jacoby Brissett.
I think even 11 games missing of Deshaun is still better than this QB room.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Because, I mean, I don't know. I think a whole year of Mitchell Trubisky is not going to be great. 4 games of Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett is not going to be great. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. But I think just on paper, as pure depth chart here, we got to give him number 4. Yeah. Moving on to the running back room.
Now, this position across this entire division is pretty loaded.
Very strong.
It's a strong group at the running back position here. I am going to put them in 2nd in the division.
Okay, I would probably say 3rd. I'd pay 3rd, and I think I would say 3rd, and I got to give the nod to Joe Mixon coming off that year he had last year over him. And, of course, number 1 is, of course, going to be Cleveland.
Yeah. I got Cleveland 1, Pittsburgh 2, Cincinnati. Don't get me wrong, I've had Joe Mixon in fantasy for the past 5 years. I know.
See what he did last year. Najee balled.
Najee balled out. I mean, and you
got. I guess. Yeah, we'll go 2. Yeah, Najee balled out
because Najee also caught a ton of passes, and Joe doesn't.
And he was he was like the only guy on the team.
Yeah. So I'll go Cleveland 1, Pittsburgh 2 here, and Cincinnati a close 3rd. And Baltimore's is deep. They're just deep. They just don't know injuries.
Yeah, and they're all I guess they're the young kid from Ohio State. He's their best guy,
Dobbins,
but Dobbins coming on.
So very good running back room, just this division.
Wide receiver room.
2nd.
Okay, we'll say 2nd.
2nd.
Very good wide receiver room.
That's only
Cincinnati. We don't want to give away our picks for the other ones. We don't want to give away all the hidden secrets. But 2nd's a good spot here for, of course, you have DeJounte. If Johnson can hold on the ball, he has some dropsies every now and then, but he's a great player. Chase Claypool, the Mapletron, as they like to call him, he's a freak of nature. If he can just keep his head straight, he's a baller. And that, George Pickens, everybody's hyped about him. So we'll end up seeing about that. And of course, like you said, they have they have a tight end that they like too. So pass catching 2nd. Moving on to the offensive line. Oof. What are we saying about this offensive line?
Last.
Yeah. And this is coming off of the Bengals really addressed their offense, or tried to at least. But this offensive line's full of guys that were like, who? Not great.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. So we'll see how this shakes out. But dude, if you don't have an offensive line, it don't matter the rest of the shit.
Yeah.
O-line, I'm writing this down. We're saying 4th for the O-line. I think that's about right. You always have some surprise guys that have pretty good years, but when you don't have at least a guy that's like your go-to left tackle, right tackle, dude, it's gonna be tough. So moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Now, this is where things kind of pick up. Of course, like we said, we like the running back room, the offense. We like the pass catching. We don't like the QB room or the O-line. But the defense, I mean, we'll start with the D-line.
So you've got 2 teams in the division that run 3-4s and 2 that run 4-3s. So Baltimore and Pittsburgh both run a base 3-4 defense.
So they're naturally going to be more.
So a little bit less to choose from there. Yeah. But looking at it, I would say this is the second best defensive line in the division.
Okay.
It's close. First is a runaway, but I think for second place, I think they come in second. Pretty close behind is Cincinnati, but Cleveland's is insane.
You wouldn't choose Cincinnati over this D-line?
No, and I say that like DJ Reader. Just looking at Cincinnati's, I love Trey Hendrickson. Don't get me wrong, I love Trey Hendrickson.
The Hubbard
I like
kid's
DJ Reader. Sam Hubbard's okay, but Cam Hayward's been a star 3-4 defensive lineman for a while. Tyson Alalu's pretty good.
33.
I mean, he had 10 sacks last year. Yeah, he just 32 or 33, however old he was.
Yeah.
So he's been killing it. Tyson Alalu's a former first-round pick. Big body guy, just eats up a ton of space.
All right, so we'll go second.
I like the D line, especially for what they are. They're 3-4 D.
I mean, if you take this guy off this D line, this guy's been a rock star forever, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Cam Hayward's just a stud. Then we're going into the linebacking core. I mean, I think they're number one.
Yeah. Yeah, they're number one. Number one linebacking core in the division.
I mean, this linebacking core is correct, my boy.
It's pretty crazy. If they can get Devin Bush back on track, and now he's,
I mean, they added athleticism and a guy like Miles Jack as well. I mean, they already had TJ Watt. I mean, TJ Watt
flying around. Those linebackers will be flying.
I mean,
around.
I don't care what you say.
Tied the NFL record.
22 and a half sacks, bro. He is. Bro, the White family built Diffie.
They are built different. Yeah, best linebacking core in the division.
All right, we'll go into the secondary. Also have some solid secondary pieces.
They do. This one's kind of tough. Just looking at the other secondaries in the division, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Corner is a little bit.
Corner's iffy a little bit.
Subject. Safety, though, is... They got two really good ones. So,
yeah,
I will put them.
Minkah is a baller, but
I'm gonna put them third.
Yeah, their corners let them down here. I think if they had better corners, we could put it higher.
I think Minkah and Edmonds are very good safeties. I think corner is where they struggle. So I'm gonna say third.
Overall, though, so we have second D line, first and backers, third, second. Pretty good defense.
Oh yeah, like I said, we talked about them again. This defense will be fine. If they're going to win games, it's going to be because of this defense.
All right, so give me a win total before we get out of here.
7.
I mean, you got to stop reading my mind, bro. I was like maybe 8, but I think I'm going to go 7 on the safe side. So we're saying 7 wins for the Steelers, and if only they had a good quarterback. But this is a roster to where if Kenny Pickett can kind of come to his own next year and they address the offensive line issues, this is a team that could be right back in the mix next year.
Yeah, I don't foresee it being a long rebuild,
right?
Especially if Pickett turns out to be a good football player. So just if you're a Steelers fan, you're watching this, give us 1 year. You're gonna need it. It's okay. It's okay. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. I think this is the first one, but like I said, it's a team that's going to be in a rebuild, but I like the trajectory. I still think in a couple of years they're going to be a really good team.
Yep, I agree as well, brother. Well, we'll be back with the Browns NFL Spotlight next. We will holler at you guys later.
Peace.